Well, before we get into this video here, we want to show you a little Rocky the Cat looking at some ice cubes, man. Really interesting because that's about how exciting the silver markets have been for the last year or so. So we got Rocky the Cat. Hey, man, he figured out what ice cubes are.
Hey, Rocky, you figure out what those ice cubes are? Is that what you're doing? What are you doing, huh? What's the matter? You never seen an ice cube? What's the matter with you, huh? Curious, huh? Your feet getting cold? Huh? Your feet getting cold? What's some big icicles in there for? Good thing you're not up north. You'd wonder what that is, huh? You don't know.
Well, anyway, that's Rocky the Cat. So anyway, hey, I want to talk a little bit about this deal with Walmart. Actually, the major media has been picking up on the deal with Walmart, even though this is not related to silver. In some ways, it is related to silver because, you know, some people are saying it's Jade Helm, but you know what it probably really is? People are broke, and maybe Walmart isn't doing that much business, man, because they're closing down a lot of stores. It's almost like, hey, you know, people are going to be thumbing rides here pretty soon, right? People are going to be thumbing rides the way things are going, man. I mean, they got so much regulation out there. It's freaking, you know, everybody's paying for the regulation more than they freaking, they are for actual, you know, goods and services and stuff, the way things are going, right? Getting to be BS. Anyway, so, you know, the deal is actually, you know, the economy's kind of in tatters. You know, actually, you know, I'm going to tell you something else I picked up on. You know, the infamous Blackrock, whatever it is, you know, the ones they're talking about, that they're talking about, well, they openly said that they think that, you know, the oil industry is having so much problems that a lot of them are going to go under, and they're kind of like sitting around like vultures waiting for them to go under so they can buy them up. So it's kind of like what I always thought. You know, the capital assets aren't going to go away, you know, the oil's not going to go away. All the infrastructure's not going to go away. Wall Street's playing its game just like they used to do back in a time when, you know, they gave loans to farmers back, you know, decades and decades ago. And what happened with the farmers, man? They just, you know, they got upside down and the bankers took over the farms for pennies on a dollar, man. They do this with in the construction real estate area too, man. Same damn thing. You know, it's like, you know, hey, I'm going to tell you one thing. If you believe in rapture, it ain't going to happen, man. So we're going to have to make our own freaking thing, man. You know, we're on the highway to hell, like old Babe here is on the back of the bike. You know, the license plate says hell, right? I just have to say that, you know, it's like the only thing solution is we got to make our own future. And, you know, actually some of the things I'm trying to put out is different ways to get more energy, because having a freaking energy and mental alertness is a lot to do with, you know, making your own future, right? Besides silver, too. Yeah, silver's a hedge. Silver's a hedge. I know it hasn't played out just yet, but there was a time back in 2011, actually, people would have dumped it back then. In retrospect, they would have been riding really good, like old girl here, man. But, you know, actually, though, the situation in America has always been tumultuous. You know, we always look back at the good old days and we say, wow, that was the good old days. And maybe there is a lot more stuff coming up today where things are getting more regulated. I don't like that deal. You know, that's why we got Putin the Cat trying to take over. But I don't know, he's a little cat, and we got big bad Hillary Clinton up there trying to get in. So, and Jeb Bush. So, you know, I don't know how this deal is going to work out with politics, man. I'm going to vote for Putin the Cat this next time coming up. But, you know, we always looked at the good old days way back, and, you know, the good old days, they never really were. There was always times where things were uncertain because nobody really knows about the future, but, you know, you got to live for today, man. That's what it is. You got to live for today, and that's why it's good health and positive attitude is more than anything. You know what I mean? But let's just hope that the women that got some brains that really take charge, they knock out this bitch, the Bull Dyke, from the freaking arena before she even gets up in there, because I'm looking at this deal with, I'm realizing she's not too popular amongst the liberals at all, period. You know, I've been reading a lot of liberal stuff out, people that are very much, you know, I'm not a liberal or conservative, man. I guess I'm like, do your own thing, but, you know, I know that lady is a die-hard politician, career politician, just freaking, man, she'd screw anybody over. She doesn't give a damn about women because she accepts all the money from the countries that advocate rapists, like Saudi Arabia and stuff. Let's just hope the freaking real woman freaking knock her down before she gets down in an arena. But I can tell you right now, I think the major powers are on the side of this lady, man. Major powers are on this side of this lady. But, getting back to that deal with Walmart, I saw there was actually in Florida, Tampa, Florida, was a major news network was asking questions about, hey, man, they didn't pull any permits for freaking fixing the plumbing. They didn't pull any, they didn't hire any subcontractors for the plumbing. It was all a big excuse. And I know a lot of other people are freaking saying, oh, that means the economy's going to collapse and Jade Helm is a freaking thing that's going to make, it's going to, like, the whole damn, everything's going to just come down. This is an indication that, Walmart's involved in it. But you know what it probably really is? And maybe they just want to close the stores because maybe they ain't doing that much business. They're not profitable. I mean, yeah, they're doing business, but are they making the good money? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe they got products in there that turn the profit and other products don't turn the profit just to draw people in, and people buy the stuff that don't turn the profit. You know what I mean? So, it's almost like, I think you just got to go with the flow. You got to go with the flow. And, like, a lot of times there's a lot of disinformation on the internet about, the freaking sky's falling and everything like that. Actually, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you a heads up on something. I'm going to put a video out on. There's actually, I put something out about, I know it's just, I don't think it's really going to happen. They were talking about Yellowstone being nuked by the Russian. The Russian guy said that you nuked Yellowstone. I don't, it's just the fact that some yo-yo says that, in Russian circles tells me they're aggressive. That's not that I think it's going to happen. But, I'm going to tell you, I know a lot of people actually have a lot of conspiracy stories about Yellowstone and, and California cracking off and falling in the ocean and stuff like that. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff out there. But, I'm going to tell you, though, that there's other volcanic activities out there in the world that they say there's a 98% chance of them freaking going off between now and 2040. I mean, not next year, but a 98% chance. And that'll actually change our climate, like, probably permanently for several years at least. Maybe 10 years, 5 years, several years. And, it'd make it almost like, you talk about all the freaking problems they got out there right now if something could possibly happen. There's a lot of crazy shit that could happen that's just natural. But like I said, that was one that's a 98% chance. I'm going to put something out about that. Because actually that's, but I wouldn't worry about it. You know what I mean? It ain't in the United States, though. It's on the opposite side of the world, I'll tell you that. I'll just give you a hint about that. It's nowhere near the United States at all. I know all these people that freaking push the conspiracy stuff left and right on YouTube. They always like to point out about, the Mississippi's going to freaking just become this wide chasm, and the United States is going to crack in half, and then they got the California's going to fall off in the freaking ocean, and Yellowstone's going to freaking blow up and blah, blah, blah. But there's a lot of places in the world that's even worse than that. And actually, if this thing happens, it's going to be on North Korea. But, what I think's going on, though, here, I'm going to tell you flat out really what the deal is. And, I don't want to use any charts because I think charts are boring as shit. I just put the micro motorcycles. It's just kind of like a talking point, just something like that. Sometimes the motorcycles go with what I'm saying. Sometimes they don't. But, I really don't want to put anything out with the charts because I think the charts are just total bullshit. I know that I could put charts out there. I could put statistics out there and things like that. But, the reality of the situation is silver's a metal that's still being widely used. It's not going away. It's not hula hoops. It's not like freaking Cabbage Patch dolls. It's not like Gorbachev dolls or something like that. It's necessary. And the price is too damn low because the freaking mines aren't making out much money. But, on the other side of it, we got the stock market going way the hell up. And I want you to keep in mind this really strong. The stock market actually is the bubble. The general equities market actually is the bubble. I've said this before, but it bears emphasis in saying it again. Because traditionally, over all the last decades in the United States financial system, or if you want to call it that, the stock market has stayed within a few percentage points of the GDP growth rate plus inflation put together. Well, the stock market has more than doubled that since the recovery. Why? Because the Fed has been buying up the equities, creating artificial demand for the equities, and they have this huge balance sheet. And one of the questions is, how the hell are they going to unwind their balance sheet? They're not going to be able to. And if they ever do, it's going to freaking make the equities go implode. I don't know when it's going to happen. I mean, George Soros lost not half his bet, but a good portion of his bet on shorting the S&P. But he's just still in the running for 2015. So I'm thinking 2015, man. You know what I mean? And it's going to look like the money supply is going to be dried up just as much as this desert, where this girl's riding right here, man. The money supply is going to be dried up. A lot of capital is going to disappear. Capital is like the stuff that people need to invest in the economy, which means the people on the top are going to even tighten their belt more. So, that's why I don't really totally emphasize everything on this silver stuff, because I really like to, get it. I would like to see, well, I can't freaking flat out even make too strong of statements about some of the alternative health stuff, but, that's something that's very important, because sometimes some of the simplest things in the world can do more than the big bucks things. And, in the day and age of the economy, the way things are today, that's the way you're going to have to think. Probably the motorcycle is going to get popular again, man. Who the hell knows, man? Because I got to tell you one thing. I think that after, just like Blackrock was talking about, buying up, I think it was Blackrock, whatever it was talking about buying up the oil freaking industry because they're not going to be able to hold on too much longer. I think that I think this whole thing's a game, man. They know what's going on. They're just, they call them the weak hands. Yeah, the weak hands are the ones that fucking working their asses off and took the risk, and they did all the work, and some yo-yo is going to come in here and buy them up for pennies on a dollar, right? Well, that's exactly what they're doing. And when that happens, and once they get in there and they own all that stuff, they ain't going to see the price of oil go way the hell up. And guess what? Actually, it's going to bring it to the point where motorcycles are going to be looking like a freaking great mode of transportation again. Because I know, for instance, my Harley gets about, well, it does get actually 49 to 50 miles to the gallon, average miles per gallon. It's never supposed to get that, ever. And I'll be using that thing a hell of a lot more if it gasses that much. And, or something else, or maybe a diesel Jeep or something, man. Diesel conversion on the old Jeep. But, it's going to get to the point where, people are going to have to totally think on their own, because they're not going to be able to get it from the government, because actually the government gets their freaking resources from the people. And you know what? The reality of the situation is that they don't get their resources, most of their tax money from the wealthy, at least as a percentage of their wealth. They actually get it from the hard-working middle class. So it's like, it just gets redistributed in a freaking very inefficient manner. So, I mean, most of the people are not going to benefit or get bailed out by the freaking government when they go to real crisis. And I put out this chart before about the, what the hell was it? The consumer credit rejections, all-time high, man. Decades high. But, you got to remember, man, the USA actually has been pretty freaking poor before, even in the 50s. We had a severe recession back in the 50s. We actually had a major problem. Well, we had a whole freaking major problem all from the 30s. And then we had a problem with the World War II. And then when the troops came back from World War II, it was rough for them because they had to be absorbed in the job market. And, actually the only solution was everybody's just working their ass off, man. So, I mean, really, silver's not something where you just... I mean, it's a good hedge to have. But, that's not the only thing. And, I'm going to say right now, the freaking fact that, there's some vultures looking around to buy up the freaking oil markets. The oil, all the, what the hell is it, shale oil and stuff like that, operations that are out there that are going bust, and there's some vultures looking up, buy them up. It makes me highly suspicious that the Middle East is going to blow up, and when it does, and that oil gets taken off the market, the U.S. oil is going to be so damn expensive. It's going to be mind-boggling, and you're not going to really have a choice in what the hell you can do. You know, I mean, it's going to be like that's because even if we got enough oil for ourselves, it goes by the global market. I think the Middle East is going to blow up. And it's going to be tough times over here, man. We haven't got into tough times yet. And people are bitching about what's been going on since 2008, 2009. It ain't nothing, man. We haven't got into tough times yet. Not in the least. Not in the least. So, I'm going to continue to put out not just silver videos, but a lot of how-to videos, how to make do with stuff that you can just fix instead of just buy, you know, this kind of stuff. And I'm not a doom and gloomer. I'm a realist, and I'm gonna be putting out that video pretty soon about this really huge ass volcano that could be blowing up on the other side of the world. And I can tell you right now, it ain't gonna be good for North Korea because they're directly in line with it, man. Well, that give you a good hint where the hell it is. It's amazing how many people in the alternative media don't pick up on this. They only pick up on what can go wrong in the United States. They don't pick up on what can go wrong in North Korea, though. Nah. You know, even though the guy in North Korea, this new guy, Kim, he's probably nowhere near as bad as the last two. I can almost guarantee you that. I'll say that about him, you know, even though the whole other apparatus is around him. But if that thing goes off, that's going to be the end of the freaking... you know, the guys that run North Korea. I tell you that right now, man. You're going to get whacked. So anyway, just give you a heads up on that because, you know, it's like, you know, the situation is when silver goes up, it's going to go up unexpectedly very fast. And, you know, it's going to be a rough ride, man. That's how commodities are, man. They've always been that way. When it goes up like a rocket. I can even tell you when they had, what the hell was that? God, I forgot what the rare earth metals. It was back in September of 2010. To give you an example, the rare earth metals, a lot of their stocks went up 10 times in a month. You know, I don't know what the hell's going to... When it goes up, and that's the rare earth. That wasn't the silver. But when it goes up, and to be like, oh, shit, I should have bought it. But, you know, the problem is the people that are not patient with it now, they are, you know, they're going to be the ones jumping on the deal later on and saying, oh, you know, oh, it's going up. I better buy it. And they'll probably buy it at the top and freaking lose their ass because... I'm not going to be telling people to go buy silver left and right when it gets way the hell over 50 or something. I'm going to be selling this shit. I mean, not all of it. I'll be selling definitely a good portion of it. So, you know, but I could be wrong about where the height is. I don't know. I'm just, you know, I'm just a person that looks out for the next move, you know. What's the next move, right? You know, it's like when you're riding a bike, you know, scan... Identify, decide, execute, follow through. You know, that's what you should be doing with your freaking on the horizon investments after silver, man. You know, maybe silver is you're always going to have some, but, you know, not like a whole pile of it like some stackers will be freaking, you know, I don't think you should stack forever, man. I don't think that's a smart thing to do. But, you know, hey, man, you got to be scanning on the horizon. You got to be looking at what's out there in the future, man. Is that a good deal? Is that a bad deal? Look to the left. Look to the right. Look ahead. We'll see what's behind you. You know what I mean? What's the next capital investment? Just like when you're riding on a Harley, man. You know what I mean? What could protect you the best? You know, maybe if you're making a left turn, and there's oncoming traffic, you want to get behind that big truck that's making a left turn and use the body of the truck to protect you. You got to watch out for the freaking next, you know, asset that maybe will protect your wealth better than silver. Maybe there'll be something out there. I don't know. Maybe it'll be Harley Davidsons, man. The old ones, not the new ones. The old ones, man. Nothing after an Evo. I can tell you that right now. Nothing after an Evo. So anyway, maybe that'll be the next investment, you know? 283 Chevy small blocks, man. I don't know. Who the hell knows? Volkswagen 1.6 diesel engines, right? You know, stack them up. Stack up them 1.6 Volkswagen VW engines, right? That might be your next capital investment. Because in a day and age, if oil does go way up, you want stuff that can run on vegetable oil, right? Right? And so anyway, just think outside the box. And just like when you're riding, man, just like when you're riding, you got to be defensive a little bit. You got to scan the situation, identify the threats, decide what the threats are, and execute, then follow through, right? That's the way it goes, and that's just how you should invest. Just like riding a motorcycle, and it's not without risk. It's not without risk. And riding the silver motorcycle, it's like freaking having an open primary, jockey shift, foot clutch, and no front brake. But you're lightweight, mean, and lean, and you're freaking going down the road, open pipes, and you got a lot of speed potential. So that's the way I look at silver. It's not without its risk.